Derek, what's the process sort of been for you? I know you're familiar with Willie, some of the other coaches, but just getting your feet under you the last couple of months.
It helped being familiar with Coach Fritz, and I think this is the third stop, fourth stint. So I know what he expects, and I know how he wants it done. So it's been a easy transition from that standpoint. And then also going around recruiting this area. We've always been coming in to Houston and getting guys and all of that. So it's been really good to just stay here and come from the standpoint of stay home versus, hey, come across the border. So
if we could get this one out of the way, apparently word is that when they made the introductions or something, you didn't maybe know that you had an additional title to your responsibility. What was that? Was that a surprise to have that assistant head coach?
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise and really an honor that Coach looks at me in that fashion. Obviously, he does a magnificent job of kind of laying out the plan and detailing what's expected, and for him to kind of view me in that manner is an honor. So.
What are the responsibilities as an assistant head coach?
You know what? Check back with me here in a while, and I'm gonna let you know. But no, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm sure it's. We've had conversations in the past where, that's kind of where he wants me to kind of direct myself to be that. I love all the guys. Obviously, I'm here to work with the wideouts. But I love all the guys. I love reaching and talking to them all and communicating with them all. So
when you're not on recruiting and you have a chance to maybe sit down and start evaluating, is it too early to kind of have an impression on what you have from the returners, or have you had a chance to not only sit down with them, but maybe look at some past tape, or do you not look at past tape and form your own type of opinion?
These guys are good. These guys are really good. These guys are talented, they great speed, great size, and really they are football guys. They love football. They love U of H. So these guys are the right guys you want to coach.
Well, you went to Tulane.
You came into the talent level when you came in here compared to where you were before. Do you think it's in a good place to compete in the Big 12? Have you got the horses?
I'm looking at it from like the street view of it. I'm looking at obviously my position, and absolutely.
Derrick, you mentioned the multiple experiences with Coach Fritz. Was the first time I guess you were there with him? Was it in Georgia Southern? Was that the first time?
Yeah, way back when. I think that was 2014.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was your first impression, and what is it that I guess stuck out to you about working with him that has made you end up coming back to work with him again after that?
Well, obviously going in, he was a winner. All right, so he had won at every level that he'd been at before then, so it was easy to understand. But when you work for Coach Fritz or you're a part of this program, each day that you come in this building, like, you're going to know exactly what's expected. You're going to know exactly what the standard is. There's very little gray area, and it's show up, get your job done, and figure out how you can add more value. So that's kind of how it began, and obviously I keep coming back because I want more responsibility. I want to add more value. So
it seems like Willie just, of course, is very consistent on what he wants and how he sort of directs a program or builds. But when you first met with him or you joined his staff, was there anything that sort of sold you immediately or jumped out at you like, okay, yeah, this is a guy, if I can, I'm going to stick with him as long as I can, or if he wants me, I'd like to be there with him?
Oh, yeah. Well, it wasn't, he didn't have to do anything for me. Like, I came down and I probably created my own interview coming down there. But no, just everything. Just everything from how he puts it together, how he lays out the expectations. More of how he cares about not only the staff, but his wife's relationship with my family and my wife it goes deep. But it's a lot bigger than just the ball games that you see on Saturdays, the things like that. So,
What does it take to build a winner? Because you obviously were part of that Cotton Bowl team that reached some pretty incredible heights at Tulane and obviously won the conference again this year. But understood, I guess it's a building process to get there. What is in your time in that program and through that process did you guys understand about what it took to build something like that?
First off, it takes talent. That's number one, but it takes 100% buy-in. 100% buy-in and really like laser focus on what needs to be taken care of right at that moment. You'll hear Coach talk about it all the time. 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, and it's not just the first game. It's not just Saturdays. It's every single day. We guys just got done working out. We were in the weight room with them, and it's 1-0 on Tuesday, February 6th. So I think we went 1-0 today.
It's the way coaching staff changing the hiring process go. You guys aren't any different that I think it was early December when Willie was hired and then he started to form the staff. But there wasn't a lot of time for that early signing period. But then you catch a little bit of breather and then you jump straight into the second one. I was wondering did he have a message just because I don't want to say they were behind a lot, but there was some catching up to do in terms of numbers and maybe players that maybe you want to get or the quality. Was that something that he emphasized earlier to you guys that, hey, we're going to have to get on this pretty fast?
Yeah, it is, but kind of no matter where you are in the country, that's how it is. You got to go. Obviously, you got to be able to first recruit your own roster at that time and make sure that everybody understands where they stay. Again, the clear expectations, the little to no gray area with the guys, but that was first and foremost. And to answer your question, it would have been the same thing no matter where. That's just the landscape of college football. You that's the job of it no matter where you are. So
What do you have to do to recruit your own roster when you're new to the job?
It's all about relationships. It's all about relationships, and the sooner you can start to build those genuine relationships of, hey, I'm here to serve, and it's that simple. I just left the guys, and the last guys I've talked to is, hey, what can I do to help you? That's my job. Like, if they don't have everything they need, like, how can they be successful? But once again, that's comes from the top. Coach gonna make sure we have everything we need to be successful. So I gotta do the same.
The players know what you accomplished. I feel like you and Willie and staff accomplished. That helps them have confidence in you. But how about as your staff? Like, oh yeah, we know what we did there. We know we can do that. Is that the feeling? Because you have that in the bank?
Yeah, but you look at everybody that is on this staff, they've won at the highest level. So this ain't like, they ain't looking at me like, oh, like, nah, we've all done this at different spots. So nah, there's not necessarily that. It's more just like people that's in them that want to be the best they could possibly be. And that's the same with our guys. Like, they have so much pride in one, like, they're mainly from down here. Like, it's in their blood to play ball. It's in their blood to love UH. So it's not who's coaching me. It's like, hey, like, everything happens for a reason. Here it is. Let's roll. So.
Lockdown H-Town 25. That's kind of a joke for the hashtag.
Lock it down. Keep them here.
Have you previously recruited Houston what's your other style, or Tulane or Georgia?
Well, yeah, if you're in the South and you ain't recruiting Houston, you're doing something wrong. So, yes.
I mean, and now that there's a year in the Big 12, it's sort of, we've seen the effect of guys that want to stay home. I mean, I would assume there's no reason why you guys feel like you can't get the best in Houston with what y'all, have to offer now.
Yep,
Conference
that's
affiliation.
absolutely. Now, again, all of that is fine, but it goes back to the question: what do we do to keep them here? It's the same thing we do to get them here. It's all about relationships, and kind of first off, choosing the right guy that wants to be a part of it, and being able to hold on to them, but choosing guys that you can certainly help and guys who want it. But again, the guys that are in this program, like they want to be here, and that's what ultimately will lead to success.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you have a specific area in Houston that you're in, and do you have another area or region that belongs to you?
We're figuring it all out, but I know I was here for we've been out the last 4 weeks, and I did not step out of Texas, and I loved it. So
You've played and coached at multiple levels. What has that experience been like for you, and how has that helped kind of shape where you are now?
That's a great question. It is. I mean, each part is different. Each level is different. I'll tell you, each part of the country is different. But what I can say is there's really good players that at each level, at each part. But the successful ones, they were all part of like a routine. They were driven, and it's not a sense of if I can be successful doing this. Is how and what it is that I need to do to be successful. So
Does some of that experience coaching at those different levels or lower levels, does that, I guess, shape how you evaluate? Like when you go evaluate a kid, obviously I know it's easy to find, the 6'4" kid who can run, a 4.4 or whatever, but does it help you in evaluation because you've seen and competed at these different levels?
Yeah, evaluating. I mean, it could, because you watch so many guys, but there's the talent discrepancy, if you will, between those is like very, 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 very small. Again, you dive into who that particular person is and what drives them, and that could ultimately show what else they have on top to be able to play at the highest levels.
You coached running backs at Tulane for a year, but
Yep.
your career is pretty much wide receiver?
Yes.
That's where you're comfortable?
Yes.
What was it like coaching Ty Spears?
As good as a player as he is, 1,000 times, million times better person. Million times better person. Ask my son.
Jeff, when you were an offensive analyst at Tulane, that was when Willie was just started there. Was that the second? I think it was 2 years since you were there, right?
Yes.
Was Willie both years?
Yes, sir.
So when you mentioned earlier about kind of, you kind of go out to parade your opportunity, you go out there and maybe put yourself in front of them. Was that prior relationship that it helped when it came time to circle back to Georgia Southern, or were you still, how did that process, he already knew you, so.
Yeah, no. I got with Coach Fritz in 2014, where I kind of just, we had spring break and I popped up on him and asked for a job, basically. But I actually, a guy on staff, Coach Kreisel, Mike Kreisel, I was actually working with him, and he kind of played and coached under Coach Fritz, so that's kind of how the relationship started.
So you don't hang out at the beach or anything, spring break?
Nah,
you
you
wasn't looking for a
gotta go to work.
As a Cincinnati guy, you have a take on Skyline chili?
Absolutely. It's the best chili out there. Gold star #1. skyline is 1B.
Derrick, as part of your role here, you also are involved with the community outreach. Can you kind of give us an idea of sort of what that involves and how you know, I don't know if it's something you wanted to do or if it's just how that plays into, you know, you as a person and being here?
Yep. Well, first off, it's a vision of Coach Fritz, and it's kind of something that I've stumbled upon, but I certainly enjoy it and have a passion for it. Is just helping others and really getting our guys to be able to go and help others and see how way much more satisfying that is than somebody giving you the world. So that's been important. And you ask, how do you build it? It's 100% buy-in with that. And honestly, that's probably one of the main ways that we build it and build the buy-in and all of that. So.
Is there also an education part for the guys, you know, the sort of, you know, they mentioned, I think, some of the things you did or we're going to do with Martin Luther King Day. I mean, is that sort of just an opportunity to maybe get the guys, y'all go out to a school or you do something like that?
Absolutely. It's education, it's application, it's real life. It's kind of a program that we created, designed. Obviously, you have football, you have academics. That's what they're here for. And then this program or our vision of this program encompasses everything else. Living real life, helping others, really setting yourself up to help yourself after you walk out of these doors for your last game. You know what I mean? So it's kind of an umbrella of just being better at life and helping somebody else's experience. So.
Coaching your position, what are the traits that you look for in receivers that make them successful? What do you want your guys to show you, especially guys when you get out on the field in spring?
I want them to be big, I want them to be fast, and I want them to be very, very strong. And then they got to catch the ball, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Take a few more. What about from an intangible standpoint, like off the field? Like what kind of traits do you want them to have, like in the meeting room on a day-to-day?
I mean, it's hard to like quantify, you know what I mean? But really, the moment they walk in those doors or the moment God wakes us up, I want them to be the best they could possibly be, and I want them to want that. Like I describe our relationship as a back and forth. It's my job to make you better, but it's also their job to make me better. Where I'm lacking, I want them to be able to help me, and I want them to be able to take heed to whatever it is that I'm, whatever message or whatever it is that I'm trying to teach, and once they master that, now it's my job to figure out the next step and the next step and the next step. So, and if that's the case, we'll all be better, and if we'll be better, then the result usually goes our way. So.
Philosophically, do you want guys to learn multiple positions, or you want them to learn like their position and kind of keep guys in those certain spots?
I tell the guys I coach wide receiver. I want them to play wide receiver. I don't coach the X, and we don't have a Z coach and all of that. Like I coach wide receiver. They play wide receiver.
Yeah. One more. Is that something you guys will do a lot of? Though? Like, will you guys move guys in and out? You know, if the skill set allows it. Like, if their skill set is they can play inside, they can play outside.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. I told you, start from the top. Our coach wants our guys doing the best things that they're good at. So it's my job to figure it out, make it happen.